Hey guys, Trevor here with Century 21 Masters, and in this video, I'm going to cover the latest market statistics for the Edmonton real estate market. This is February 2020 stats. It's at the beginning of March here, so this is the latest stats that you can get. So let's jump in. So this is from the REALTORS Association of Edmonton. Now, this might be a little bit hard to see, so I will zoom in for you. But before I get into that, just want to let you know if you have any real estate questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can text or call me on my cell phone at 780-819-5508. I do free home evaluations, so if you're thinking about selling and you want to find out what your home might be worth or what it might sell for on the market, be happy to help you out with that. Or we can just have a buyer or seller consultation as well. You can book me at booktrevornow.com. Otherwise, you can shoot me a text or give me a call. So let's jump into the market stats. So the first thing I actually want to start with is the selling price stats. And this is going to be for Edmonton only. So it's not what's called the Edmonton CMA, which includes the surrounding areas. We're just looking at Edmonton in this video. So for selling price, all residential, what we mean by all residential is it includes all homes and condos. So this is going to be very general numbers. And on average, in February, the average property in Edmonton sold for $356,000. And now we're going to get into the month over month and year over year statistics. Month over month is just comparing this month to last month. So we're looking at February stats. So this is going to be comparing the average sales price to the stats in January. So the 356,000 average price represents a 1.95% increase over last month, and a year over year an increase of 0.25%. Year over year just basically means a whole year before, so that's comparing February 2020 to February 2019. Now, if we look at the median price, this is the midpoint. So this is the house in the very middle of all the houses that sold. That is the house that sold for $320,000. So the median basically represents the middle point. So you've got a 50% chance of being above that and a 50% chance of being below that. And for the median price in all of the market, we're looking at a drop of 2.22% month over month from January. And year over year, we're also looking at a drop of 3.91%. I tend to put a little bit more weight to the median sales price over the average, since the averages can be skewed. If there's a lot of houses that sell that are either very cheap or very expensive, it can have a lot more variance. Whereas the median, I find, is a little bit better of an indicator to look at what's actually going on in the market. Now let's get a little bit more specific here. We're going to start looking at different types of properties, which will probably be a little bit more meaningful for you. First off, we're going to start with single family homes. So the average sales price of single family homes in February was $446,000, which actually represents a month over month gain of 4.92% and a year over year gain of 2.31%. So that's looking pretty decent. Now, if we go and we look over at the median, we're coming in at $382,000, which does represent a gain still month over month of 1.17%, but it is a year over year drop of 2.89%. So that shows us that the median homes are selling for more than they were in last month in January, but we're still down from last year when we're comparing it to February 2019. Going down to condos, the average sales price in February was $205,000, which represents a month over month gain of 1.78% and a year over year drop of 6.63%. So we're down significantly on the average condo sales price from last year, but we are up a little bit over last month. And now if we jump over into the median sales price, it's $191,000, which does represent a month over month gain of 4.81%. So that's pretty good. A bit of a jump up from last month, but it's actually down 8.29% year over year. So that number is even worse than the average. And like I was saying before, I do tend to put a little bit more weight to the median sales price. So as you can see, the condo market is really struggling. So if you are selling a condo, you got to make sure that you're really pricing the property properly if you want to get some traction. Now, if we look down at duplex and row house, These properties are still single family titled, but they're not detached homes. So it could be a half duplex, meaning you share a wall with a neighbor and you don't pay condo fees, then you're probably a half duplex. Or it could be some what are called row houses. It might look like a townhouse to you. Basically, if you don't pay condo fees and it's a townhouse, it's probably a row house, and this falls into this category. These houses on average in February sold for $322,000, which does represent a month over month drop of 7.48% and a year over year drop of 2.95%. Now, if we go and look over at the median, it's actually pretty close, 322 to 320. We're at 320,000 median sales price in February, which is a slight drop of 0.03% month over month and a slight drop of 0.07% year over year. So if we look at those numbers, those are so close to last month and last year. That tells me that out of all these property types, the duplex and row houses have actually been the most stable in the market, not a big upswing or downswing. Now, I'm just going to zoom out because this is zoomed way too far in. Now we're going to look at the listing activity. But before I get into that, I just want to remind you, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me by text or give me a call at 780-819-5508. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, even if you're 3, 6, 12 months away from thinking about buying or selling. I am here to help. All right, so jumping back into the statistics. So for new listings in the current month, so this, even though it's beginning of March, we get the stats a month later. So this is the stats for February. There was 1,795 new listings in February, which represents an increase in the number of new listings of 12.4%. So things are starting to pick up in terms of listing activity. We're getting more listings in February than we had in March, than we did in January. Year to date, that's just since the beginning of the year, there's been a total of 3,392 new listings, which is a slight uptick from last year of 2.69%. So we see a few more listings than we did last year at this time of year. So that's what's going on there. Now, if we look at sales, sales is referring to properties that have actually sold, not properties that are on sale or anything like that. It's properties that have sold, people have bought them. In February, there was a total of 743 sales, which represents a month-over-month increase of 28.32%. So we're almost looking at a 30% increase in sales over January. This is normal. Things do start to pick up as we get further into the year. So that's a good sign. Things are picking up. Year to date, we've got 1,322 sales, which does also represent an increase in sales over last year of 4.65. Wow, it's hard to say all these stats, of 4.65% year over year. So both these numbers are good indicators that the market is picking up a little bit. In terms of inventory, that just refers to how many properties are currently for sale on the market in Edmonton. Just under 5,000, we're at 4,941. Don't have the stats here to show you how that compares to last month and last year. Might do that in another video. Let me know if that's something that you'd like to know. Over here, this is just sort of vanity metrics. It's basically looking at what are the most expensive homes that have sold in February. And if we're looking at the most expensive single family home that sold, it sold for $2.9 million. If you bought that house and you're thinking about selling, give me a call because I'd love to be your agent. The most expensive condo that sold was $700,000, and the most expensive duplex / row house that sold was $600,000. Those are the high rollers in the market. Now, the last thing that we're going to look at here is actually the average days on market for monthly sales. This just kind of gives you an indicator of what's the health of it's one of the indicators of what's the health of the market. How long does it take a property to sell if it's priced properly? This only takes properties into consideration that actually sell. So if you've got a property that's been sitting on the market for 6 months, then it expires. That actually does not get included in these statistics. So sometimes people look at these numbers and they'll say, oh, okay, single family home, the average days on market for this year is 69. So my house should sell in 70 days. It's not actually that simple. These are the houses that actually sell. And since not all properties sell, it can be a little inaccurate, especially if you're not pricing it properly. And that's how come you can end up with properties that have been sitting on the market for months or even years in some cases. This, the way I like to describe this, is the average days on markets for properties that are actually priced properly. So if we look at single family home, this year we've got an average of 69 days versus last year of 67. So pretty close. It's up a little bit from last year, but the stats are relatively close. For condos, we're looking at 75 this year versus 77 last year. That's actually a good sign, but it's such a small change that I wouldn't put much weight to that. And for duplex and row houses, it's exactly the same as last year at 76 days on market. All residential, basically that's the average of everything, 73 this year versus 72 last year. So it is slightly going up. So there you have it. Those are the stats. I might do a more in-depth video. Let me know what sort of questions that you guys have about the market. I'm going to be making a lot more videos on my YouTube channel. So make sure that you subscribe, hit that like button, and put any questions or concerns or anything down in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer for you. So give me a call or shoot me a text if you want more than that, and I'll see you guys in the next video.